Welcome back to Traveling with Krushworth. On this travel guide, I'm in Ottawa, Canada's capital. Not only is Ottawa the seat of government, but it's known for its art and heritage. May is a perfect time for the famed Tulip Festival. 72 years after Canada helped free the Dutch people from the Nazis, the flowers are an annual gift from the Netherlands for Canada's role in housing Dutch royals during the war. To this day, the Dutch royal family and the Dutch Bulb Growers Association sends 10,000 bulbs each a year as a lasting legacy for the assistance Canada provided during dark times. 2017 marks Canada's 150th anniversary since its founding in 1867. Ottawa offers museums, markets, natural areas, government buildings, but also surprises like yoga on Parliament Hill. The Ottawa Jail Hostel, which was once the Carleton County Jail from 1862 to 1972, welcomes visitors like myself, but the building has been named one of the world's most haunted sites. The stairs are guarded by grim anti-suicide grates, and the old cells have been repurposed into rooms. The cell blocks are eerie, but nowhere near as strange as floor 8. This is where the hostel remains much the same as it was when the building ceased to be a jail 45 years ago. This floor was the jail's death row, and the gallows remain in a dingy, dark cell. This place is giving me the willies, and I have to sleep here tonight on level 4. So the ghosts, I really hope the ghosts stay up here on level 8. All right, and that's enough of the death row. See you later. Canada's Centennial Flame burns bright in the Parliament Building's public grounds. Located just inside the Queen's Gates, the monument was erected 50 years ago in 1967. Built in the Victorian High Gothic style, East Block houses the historic office of Canada's first Prime Minister, John A. Macdonald. Massive renovations are ongoing on Parliament Hill. If you're lucky, visitors might see the current Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau, on government business. I had the opportunity to see him open a monument to Canada's tradespeople. The National War Memorial is a solemn place to reflect upon the immense sacrifices all Canadian military personnel have made in years long past, now, and into the future. The memorial was installed in 1939 on the eve of the Second World War to remember those who served and made the ultimate sacrifice during the Great War from 1914 to 1918. In 2014, Corporal Nathan Cirillo was gunned down while guarding the memorial. The attacker stormed Canada's Parliament, where he was killed by former Sergeant-at-Arms Kevin Vickers. Cirillo's death shocked the nation, but Canadians came together stronger than ever to protect the democratic values our forefathers fought for us to keep. I crossed the bridge from Ottawa to Gatineau, Quebec to visit the Canadian Museum of History. Close to 20,000 years of human heritage await travelers when they walk inside. My first steps into the Grand Hall offered a striking view of the Pacific Coast's First Nations, but other exhibits are dedicated to Indigenous peoples' art, culture, and artifacts through the ages. To this day, the museum, the country's most visited, continues to be a necessary addition to the city and nation's landscape, as Canadians find it vital to learn the events that shaped the past. The exhibits I saw are a true celebration of First Nations culture. But the facility continues to grow and change. As the country celebrates 150 years, The museum opened its new Canadian History Hall in July 2017 for all generations to enjoy. Construction of Ottawa's Rideau Canal, which is now a UNESCO World Heritage Site, started in 1826 as a reaction to the War of 1812, which saw an American invasion of what is now Canada. The goal was to form a secure waterway from Montreal to Kingston, Ontario. Lieutenant Colonel John By oversaw the canal's construction, and Bytown, Ottawa's early predecessor, boomed around the massive undertaking. The 202-kilometer-long waterway was finished in 1832 and is navigated through a system of locks and dams. 19 of those kilometers were man-made, dug by hand. The Canadian Parliament buildings have existed at the very heart of Canada since the early days of the country's founding. The initial buildings on Parliament Hill were finished by 1876. A massive fire, however, devastated Centre Block on Parliament Hill and shook the young nation in 1916. Early structures were incinerated, but the country's famed parliamentary library was spared. Librarian Alpheus Todd had once asked for iron fire doors, and these were shut before library staff fled into the cold winter night. Canadians have always been resilient, and Parliament was rebuilt. The library, to me, was absolutely unbelievable. It was as if I stepped back to a time when early parliamentarians were using the knowledge housed within to shape the country's foundation. To this day, bullets scar the wooden frame of the library's door and the very walls of Parliament. These are grim reminders of the 2014 attack on Canada's Centre Block. I was fortunate to have a tour of Canada's Parliament by John Barlow, MP for Foothills. Visiting the Canadian Senate, the House of Sober Second Thought, was one of many highlights. Every morning as the clock chimes 11, the turning of the page ceremony takes place in the Memorial Chamber on the second floor of Canada's Peace Tower. A member of the House of Commons Protective Services turns one page on each of the 7 books of remembrance, including the First World War, to honor the wartime dead. 100 years after the 1917 Battle of Vimy Ridge, I visited the Canadian War Museum to reflect on Canadian sacrifices as they took the French hill from the Germans in the First World War. This battle was a first for the early nation in that each and every division of the Canadian Corps fought side by side on the same field. I'm deeply proud of what these men did. 2 years previously, the British had attempted to take the hill in 1915, but couldn't. Enter the Canadians, and these men were unstoppable, using the creeping barrage to do the impossible. To this day, the Vimy Ridge Memorial is a Canadian pilgrimage. 2 of my great-grandfathers fought at Vimy for the Canadians, one of whom died and is named on the memorial. The Canadian War Museum houses a vast collection from this country's servicemen and women who fought in conflicts worldwide, and all guests should visit these exhibits. However, nothing prepared me for the emotional experience that was taking in the paintings from First World War masters, many of which feature deadly battlefields to mustard gas attacks. These works of art offer an entirely new take on war, one that comes from the brushstrokes of the very people who lived, breathed, and returned home to build the nation we have today. Thank you for watching this Ottawa episode of Traveling with Krushworth. To follow me to Quebec City, click the video link on the right. If you'd like to return to Montreal, click the link on the left. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you like it, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.